King Tay Savage, I'm back. Before we to it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you watch the full video. Throw in shit, let's get right into it.
Tay Savage, King Von, 051 Melly. Who would you think was the most savage?
I gotta get to Tay. Y'all call him Tay Savage, bro. I call him John Wick. Let's start there.
He said, I call him
The
John
situation
Wick.
with him allegedly killing Blazing Dog Mama. I know he killed that girl mama. He shot at me.
So now, Tay out. Tay out, he doing his 1-2, all the car crackers with him. He sliding folks out here, 3-4 pipes by himself. He out here just, he him. I ain't gonna lie, like he is who he is, folks. On video, he riding around 3-4 30s by himself with his homies, sliding, taking, treating savages like goofies, robbing folk, pistol whipping them out in broad day. He terrorizing the city.
Some people in this world are natural born bullies. If they sense any weakness in you or they want something from you, they're gonna get down on you with no hesitation. The subject of today's video is no different. The subject of today's video was known to bully and rob gangsters across the city of Chicago and is known as a ruthless savage in the streets. The subject of today's video beat multiple attempted murder charges and 2 different murder charges that people believe that he committed, and he was known as the King Von before King Von. The subject of today's video is none other than Tay Savage, and today we're going to be telling his story. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Tay Savage, real name Dwayne Timberlake, is from the 76th and Racine area of Chicago known as Rock Island, but he moved to an area of Chicago known as the Low End when he was 13 to 14 years old. Shortly after this, he would jump headfirst into the streets at a young age at just 14 to 15 years old. He grew up into a family of gangsters. His father and his grandfather were both gangsters, and his uncle was the one that introduced him to the street life. In an interview, he stated that the street life is like a drug to him, and he can't resist the rush that it gives him. Tay Savage is a member of a set called Welch World. Welch World is a set of primarily black disciples and some gangster disciples located in the Bronzeville neighborhood of Chicago on 43rd and Cottage Grove Avenue. Welch World is named after a fallen member named Anthony Welch, and he plays a lot of significance in Tay Savage's story. Welch World primarily beefs with a set called 757. 757 is an alliance between 3 gangster disciple hoods: Rock Nation on 27th and State, Lawless on 35th and Rhodes, and the Ave on 37th and Michigan. The 757 moniker represents the last number of each of these 3 sets. Tay was living a crazy life in the streets. He was shot on 3 separate occasions but survived each one. As he was living his wild life in the streets, Tay Savage's life would take a turn following the death of his best friend Welch. In 2010, So Icy, which would later be renamed to Welch World, was beefing heavily with the set called the Ave, who would later become a part of the 757 alliance. On May 13, 2010, Tay Savage was allegedly shot by members of the Ave and was hospitalized. 2 days later, on May 15, 2010, at around 7 p.m., it is rumored that his best friend named Anthony Welch was sliding on members of the Ave looking for revenge when his gun ran out of bullets. After his gun ran out of bullets, he was chased down by someone in a car. Then another person hopped out of the car and shot him in the chest. Another man that was with Welch at the time was shot in the leg but survived his injuries. Welch would tragically lose his life at just 19 years old. A witness to the crime would later clarify that a woman named Princess Streeter, known in the streets as Cess, was the one driving the car that chased down Welch. It is widely believed that the man that hopped out of the car and killed Welch was a man named Neff. The death of his best friend Welch would change Tay forever and make him take things in the streets to a whole other level.
See, I think I really turned my bully up, for real. I always was like, you feel me, like doing my thing, but I really turned my bully up probably like Welch died. Like really after Welch died, bro, that shit like, you know what I'm saying? Like trigger something in the motherfucker, but
Shortly after the death of Welch,
Hey, do
Tay
you like
Savage
that, though?
allegedly got revenge on
Yeah,
the
you gonna
people who
turn up
did
or
it
you gonna
back
shut
to
up?
back. As I mentioned earlier, a witness claimed that a woman nicknamed Cess was the driver on the drill that claimed the life of Welch. Welch was Tay Savage's best friend, so he was looking for her. Eventually, he would allegedly catch up with her. According to court documents, on February 5th, 2011, Tay and another man were riding in a car when they saw Cess enter her car and drive away from a club on 87th Street and drive to a club on 75th Street. Once Cess parked and exited her vehicle, Tay allegedly hopped out of his car and opened fire. Tay allegedly shot her multiple times, and a witness claims that Tay shouted, "I told you, bitch," as he stood over her and continued to shoot. Cess was shot once in the upper right leg, upper left leg, back right chest, and twice in the stomach. Cess was tragically pronounced dead a few hours later at Northwestern Memorial Hospital at just 24 years old. The daughter of Cess would go on to become a rapper named Blazing Doll. Tay Savage would troll and post Blazing Doll's music on his Instagram.
One of the murders you had beat with the Cess shit, her daughter a rapper, and you had reposted her music. Was there like a reason behind that?
yeah, I just shit want to support her. I feel like that's the least I could do. Shit.
After allegedly killing the driver that was involved in the death of his best friend,
Like,
Tay would then allegedly go after the gunman next. Just 2 months after the death of Cess, the alleged gunman responsible for the death of Welch named Neff, real name Christopher Daniels, would be shot and killed. On April 10th, 2011, Neff was sitting in a car at a traffic light just before 7 p.m. Neff was in the car when Tay Savage allegedly got out of a vehicle in front of him and began firing. Neff put his car into reverse to try and flee, but Tay allegedly continued to fire shots as Neff tried to reverse his car and crash into another vehicle. With Neff's car trapped, Tay continued to fire, hitting Neff several times. Neff was taken to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where he was tragically pronounced dead at just 22 years old. Eventually, Tay Savage would be charged for the deaths of both Cess and Neff and would have to fight for his freedom in court.
Not guilty. That's damn.
Tay Savage had to face 2 separate trials, one for the murder of Cess and another for the murder of Neff. He hired a well-renowned attorney named Frank Himmel, and his lawyer was so good that the juries for both cases came back with a verdict of not guilty in less than an hour.
Yeah.
Aside from all of the shootings, Tay Savage is really known for being a robber and a bully. Unlike a normal bully, Tay Savage didn't pick on the weak. He was willing to go after anyone. In an interview, he stated that if someone had something he wanted, he was gonna take it from them. It didn't matter how gangster you were. A legendary Chicago YouTuber by the name of Street News TV nicknamed Tay Savage the Michael Jordan of the rob game. He did so much robbing that surprisingly, it wasn't the alleged murders and attempted murders that would land him serious jail time. It was an armed robbery. On July 16, 2013, 2 men named Devontae Scott and DeMarco Holmes were on East Brown Avenue when they were approached by 2 armed men. One of the men told them, "You know what this is," and ordered the victims to the ground. The armed men then robbed Scott and Holmes, and then hopped into Holmes' blue Monte Carlo and fled the scene. Afterwards, one of the men would later identify Tay Savage in a photo lineup, leading to him being charged with the robbery. He would end up getting charged with the 2 murders while he was already in prison for this robbery, and would end up fighting the 3 cases back to back to back. During the trial for the carjacking, the witnesses to the crime got shot, and people associated with Tay were charged with witness tampering. Due to all of the drama, Tay decided to just accept a plea deal and ended up serving 8 years and 9 months in prison. After getting released from prison, Tay Savage would get back on his bully. A popular rapper from Philadelphia that signed to Polo G named Young Liv got his chain snatched. Tay obtained the chain and tried to get Young Liv to buy it back from him. Young Liv refused to buy it back, and ever since then, Tay has been seen wearing the chain on social media and in multiple interviews. Tay Savage is currently free and building a name for himself in music. His music is
That's
honestly
savage,
probably
though,
going to
bro.
blow up due to
Doing
how big
interviews
his
with
street
it?
reputation is. You know, I honestly think he's going to be as big as King Von just because of his reputation. Let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comment section.
Yeah, he's savage for that, bro. If you doing music videos and interviews with somebody stole him chain, bro, that's cold. Make sure you like button, man. Catch you next video.